Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Norris here. Today, I'm going to be walking you through Lesson 3.3 Senior Project Workshop. So as usual, you can see my screen is split in two. I've got this tutorial on one side with my instructions, and I have my drive open on the other. So if you could pause the video and get yourself set up, and then we will get started. All right, we're ready to go. So our know and our understand don't really change too much. Let's just look at our do. Students will use formulas to find the highest, lowest, and average student test scores. So our overview or like our buy-in background information for your senior project, you have decided to hold several workshops to help teachers utilize Google Sheets as a tool to calculate students' grades and averages. You have decided to create a sample spreadsheet to use as a guide when demonstrating its useful features and capabilities. So we're going to be learning today how to use the formulas average, maximum, and minimum. We're going to learn how to increase and decrease our decimal places. We're going to cut and paste text. We're going to add borders, and we're going to change the page orientation using a screenshot to show me, your teacher, that you know how to do that. Okay. We're going to name our Google Sheet with our first and last name and lesson 3.3. We have our text to copy at the bottom here, and it looks like it says Mrs. Burgess on with a space in between the S and the O. It's actually both together, Mrs. Burgesson. And then finally, when we're done, we're going to download our document as a PDF and submit it through Canvas. So let's take a look over here. And I'm just going to go up to this space this far on my instructions, although actually you're watching this tutorial, so I'm going to go up to the tutorial. And I have my drive open. I'm going to go ahead and open my My Sheets folder, and you can see I've already got lesson 3.3 ready to go. My guess is you probably do too, and I've already typed in the information. So what I'd like you to do right now, if you haven't done so already, I'd like you to please pause this tutorial and type the information exactly as you see it here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to find the average of our information. And the average of our information is all of the numbers added together and then divided by how many numbers we've got. All right, sorry about that. Let's come back together. So what we are going to do is we are going to first find the average. It's pretty easy. I'm going to want to find the average of the test scores for each student. And again, with the update to Google Sheets, at least today in February 2021, it's going to be super simple for us. We pretty much just have to do one, and then the rest of them are going to be done for us. So to do that, I'm going to click on cell F5, remember F5, the last cell, and I am going to go to my formulas tab or functions, same thing, and I'm going to click average, okay? Then I'm going to click and drag my mouse to the 3 test scores for JoJo, and then I'm going to let go and hit enter, and now the average is there, okay? Now, in any other situation, likely for you, what's happening is you have the option to autofill the rest. Because I don't have that option right now, I'm going to instead use my option to click and drag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the edge of my cell number F5. Again, we're working on cell F5, okay? And then I'm going to drag my autofill handle. That's where my little cursor turns into the plus sign, and I'm going to drag it all the way down. And now my average should show. How do I check? Again, I'm going to go to View, Show Formulas, and my average formulas are all there. Now, at the end, I'm going to have you show me your formulas before you download and submit so that I know you actually did these steps and didn't just copy the numbers. But for now, I'm going to take it back to hiding my formulas, and my average is done. So let me show that to you one more time. I'm going to click on the cell, and then I'm going to go to Functions, Average. I'm going to click and drag for the 3 numbers that I need to average out. And then when I let go and hit enter, my average is there. Now I'm not given the option to autofill automatically. So I'm going to click. on my cell. I'm going to wait until my cursor turns into the crosshair, and then I'm going to click and drag all the way down. Okay, so that is how we find our average. Now, in this case, there are no decimal numbers. It's probably a setting I set many years ago to not have decimal numbers automatically. But if I have a decimal, because this is how your numbers should look, if I have any decimal points, I can either increase them or decrease them using these two buttons here. So if I want to decrease my decimal spaces, so get rid of the numbers after the decimal points, I'm going to use this one. If I want to add more numbers, then I'm going to use this one. Really, the only time you would use this is, say, for example, money. Money would probably be the only time that you would use that. Okay, so let's stick with where we're at with no decimal points after. And now I'm going to find the maximum. So this is the highest score for test number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the highest score, which is cell 34, C34. Okay. And I'm going to go to my functions, and I'm going to select max. Okay. And now I'm going to do just as I've done in the past. I'm going to click and drag my mouse and then let go and hit enter. And now my highest test score is there. Okay. If I want to find, and I'm going to find these for each of my tests. So I'm going to click on my first cell and I'm going to drag and let go. And then just to make sure that it showed it correctly, there we are. Okay. So view and then show my formulas to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. Okay. So now we're going to find our minimum score. Same thing. Click on the first cell, C35, and then I'm going to go to function, and I'm going to go to minimum. I'm going to click and drag, let go, and hit enter. And then I'm going to do the same. Click on C35, look for my crosshair, and drag. Okay, and then again, making sure that it's done correctly. View, show formulas, and my formulas are there. So I'm going to view and unshow or hide my formulas. Okay. So we do also need to find that average, the class average. So if I click on, again, class average, function, average, click and drag, let go, hit enter, click, drag, let go, view, show formulas. So all of my formulas are there, which again, this is how you're going to show me at the end, so I know that you've done your work. Okay, so now we are going to, we've increased and decreased our decimal places. We're going to cut and paste our text. So our class average, our highest and lowest. Actually, before we do that, let's make some other formatting changes. So row 4, I'm going to bold it. So if I just click on the number 4, it's going to select the whole row. And I'm going to bold. Okay. I want to right align these, not all of them, but just C4 through F4. So I'm going to click on C4, click and drag. And what I want to do is right align these. So I'm going to right align them. Okay. I want to bold C33 and to E35. So let's see here. C33 to E35, which is right here. Right here. I'm going to click and drag and then drag. And then I want to bold these cells. Okay. Now cut and paste. So we want to cut and paste these 3. So I'm going to click and drag. and then cut. So I can right click and cut. And then what I want to do, you see it hasn't disappeared, but it's got the dotted line. So that tells me that it's in cut mode. And I want to position them to B33. So I'm going to move them over one. I'm going to click B33, and then I'm going to paste. Okay. Now it has disappeared, but we're going to fix that by resizing our column B. Remember, if we move our show you again. So if we move our cursor so that it turns into an arrow and then double click, there we have our resized column B. And then finally, we are going to add borders. So I'm going to click on A1, and I'm going to drag down to my last number, F35, and then I'm going to let go. And then I'm going to go to my borders, and I'm going to select all borders. Okay, just like that. So now what we're going to do is, before we get, and if you look and see, like, I'm going to let go here, and everything looks good to me. I've checked all of my numbers. So now I'm going to go to View, Show Formulas to show my formulas here. If you want to resize, so it shows, it's not going to, you have to actually resize. So I'm not going to do that actually. I've got all of my information with my averages showing and my formulas showing, and I'm ready to print. So what we want to do is we want to change our print orientation. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Document Details. No, I forgot what it was. File and Print. Okay. And right now it is currently at landscape. We're going to change it to portrait. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a screen capture of this page. So I know that you know how to change it to portrait. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I rename it with my first and last name. And I'll put these in the directions as well. Sorry, guys. Having some issues. That's what happens when you try to rush. I'm just going to do rename. First and last name. And lesson, so L3.3, print page. Okay, so I have lesson 3.3, the print page, and I'm going to submit that. I'm not actually going to print, so I'm going to cancel. And then I need to download this file, download as a PDF. And then see, we have portrait here. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and export that. And then in Canvas, and I'm going to add this to the directions as well. So where it says what to name our Google Sheet, I'm going to add what to name our screenshot as well. We're going to make sure that we upload our screenshot as well as our actual sheet page. Okay, so once you've done that, then you are done with this activity and either ready to work on a next activity, or you are ready to do an extra credit or practice your keyboarding skills.